हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्
Om Shri Sai Ram. Dear NLP students, we welcome you all to yet another blissful session of Dhyana Vahini. So let me take this opportunity to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Chandrahaas CS. Dr. Chandrahaas graduated with a Bachelor of Technology in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore in the year 2013. He worked as a software engineer at IBM India Private Limited, Bengaluru for a period of 2 years. He completed his MBA from Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning in the year 2017. Dr. Chandrahaas obtained his PhD in management at Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning under the guidance of Dr. N. Niranjan on the topic Conceptualization, Development and Validation of Holistic Leadership Scale through the study of 3 values-centered socio-political leaders. His extracurricular interests include event management, book editing and publishing, dramatics, public speaking and debates. He is an avid badminton, tennis and basketball player and an aspiring marathon runner. He has been practicing meditation since 2014. He is currently working as assistant professor with the Department of Management and Commerce, Brindavan campus. I now invite you, sir, to kindly enlighten the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram. First, let me do a quick mic check. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Sai Ram, sir.
Yes, sir. Offering my humble pranams to the divine lotus feet of our most beloved God and Guru, Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Thank you, sister, first of all, for the wonderful introduction. And loving Sai Ram, and very good morning to all the participants. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So first things first, can I get a thumbs up from all participants? Just to know that everyone is actively listening. Okay. Thank you. So I'm sure you must have all already gone through the relevant chapters in Dhyana Vahini, that is chapter 3 and chapter 4, right? So based on that understanding, what I would like to do today is actually to share a few stories that reinforce our understanding of these 2 chapters of Dhyana Vahini. And in the process, if you have any doubts at any point of time, you can mention it in the chat box or raise your hands. Of course, I will have some dedicated time for question and answers at the end. So let me go ahead right away and share the presentation. Okay, I hope you're all able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let me start by asking a very simple question. What is dhyana or meditation? Can anyone respond? You could choose to respond in the chat box. You could raise your hand if you would like to. What, according to you, is dhyana? You've read 4 chapters already. Okay. Whenever we think of Swami, self-awareness, one-pointed focus. Okay, focusing on God. Great, great, great. Tejaswini has raised her hand. Tejaswini, could you
Yeah,
please tell us what you think is dhyana?
Sai Ram sir. I believe dhyana is the process of discovering the inner divine by one-pointed focus, concentration, and japa. Like there can be various ways, but it's essentially the way to find the divine within. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. I think you've already given the most appropriate answer. Is dhyana is not discovering, it's not creating divinity within us. It is just discovering divinity within us or realizing the divinity within us through the process of meditation. Now, let me give you a quick story of what usually happens when we start meditating. All right. So, Swami has shared this story in several discourses. There used to be, once upon a time, a Guruji, and he used to love pets, and he used to have a cat. And when there were any kind of yajnas or pujas happening in the ashram, he used to find that this cat is roaming around everywhere. So he used to tie this cat to a pole whenever a yajna happens in the ashram. A few years passed by, and the Guruji left his body. His disciples happened to notice this practice of Guruji tying this cat to a pole whenever a yajna happened, and they thought that this is what is also a part of the ritual of yajna. So the next time, what they did is, even after this cat passed away, whenever they used to conduct a yajna, they used to get a cat from somewhere and tie it to a pole, thinking that that is part of the yajna. Similarly, when we start meditating, or when we just begin to meditate, we tie ourselves down with so many expectations regarding meditation based on what we would have heard from somebody speak, saying you will have to experience energies flowing through your body, or you would have to see some glowing lights. You should, your life suddenly transforms. It becomes so beautiful, peaceful all the time. You will not, your boss will stop troubling you from tomorrow, or you will be able to finish your assignments on time. Right? We have all these imaginary thoughts about meditation based on what we have heard from others. And that initially acts as an obstacle to meditation. And in my experience, what I've seen is that it creates a sense of frustration, or it kind of disheartens us from practicing meditation, because we often think, many people often think that, okay, nothing seems to be happening. I've been doing it for a few weeks or few months. Nothing seems to be happening. So maybe I might not be cut out for this. And as a result, a lot of us actually drop from this path of meditation. That's why it's very important to not have any expectations when you start meditating. Swapnil has said that he's not able to see my screen. Is it the case, or are you able to see my screen?
Can see.
We can able to see it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So at any point of time, if you have any questions regarding any of the stories that I'm sharing, you can raise your hands. Okay. So let me move on to the next story that I would like to share is controlling of temper. This is the first thing that Swami talks about. Do you know what Swami has told about the bad impact that temper can have? Does anybody know? Swami has said one bout of anger. No, once if you get really angry, what impact can it have? Okay, Debashish has said reduce lifespan. It takes away spiritual progress. Yes, correct. But what extent does it take away our spiritual progress? I think two people have raised their hands. Sai Akshay, am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Am I audible, sir?
yes, you're audible, Akshay.
So Swami has once told that once if you get angry, as you said, we might lose 3 months or 6 months of energy that we have attained.
Yeah. So Swami has said that's very good. Akshay, you got it right. Swami said once if you get angry, right, you will lose the spiritual energy that you've accumulated in your system for the last 3 months. Can you imagine? So if you are a short-tempered person, right? If we are short-tempered, then our balance of spiritual energy might actually be in the negative. Forget being in the positive. So that's why it's very important to let go of anger. Now, before coming to the discussion of how to let go of anger, let me share a story of what problems anger can create and how dissolving anger is like one of the biggest steps in spiritual ladder. This happened sometime uh, towards Satyuga when Vishwamitra was trying to become a Brahma Rishi. Now, if you know the class of rishis, if you have read the Indian scriptures, there are several levels of rishis. You have rishis, right? You have Raj rishis, right? And the highest stage that a rishi can reach is Brahma Rishi. And there are, even after thousands of years in our Puranas and Itihasas, only a select few individuals have been given this, conferred this title of Brahma Rishi. Vishwamitra, uh, who was born into a royal family, he became a king. Then he undertook spiritual practices, and for several thousands of years, he did penance. And he was given the term Rajarishi or title Rajarishi. Now, if you want to know what kind of powers, spiritual powers that Vishwamitra accumulated, he was able to create universe just by the power of Gayatri Mantra. That was his spiritual attainment. He had started creating other universes, but still he was not given the title of Brahma Rishi. And this made him very upset. He was so overtaken by jealousy that why is Vashishta Brahma and why am I not? That he decided that he will go to Vashishta's ashram and he will kill him. That is the intent with which he goes to Vashishta's ashram at night. And when he's entering the ashram or the hut hermitage of Vashishta, he can hear, uh, this is at night, and he can hear Vashishta, he can overhear Vashishta talking to his wife, Mother Arundhati. And there was a moon, it was a full moon day, the moon was very bright, a lot of light was coming from the moon, and he could overhear from outside Vashishta telling his wife how beautiful the moon is and how bright the moon is. And he is comparing in his conversation the brightness of the moon to the effulgence that he sees from Vishwamitra's face. And he says it is cool like the radiance that everybody feels around Vishwamitra. Hearing this, Vishwamitra becomes stumped because here is he who is Vashishta has never harmed him ever. And here he is, he's come to take Vashishta's life just because he wants the title of Brahmarishi. And Vashishta, you know, he being all-knowing Brahmarishi, he knows the intentions of Vishwamitra, but still he is praising the good qualities of Vishwamitra. So his ego becomes crushed. He becomes so humble that he straight goes and falls at Vashishta's feet. The moment he gives up his ego, anger, and falls at Vashishta's feet, Sage Vashishta picks him up and then confers onto him the title of Brahmarishi. So please remember that even for the greatest of sages, right, we are talking about Vishwamitra himself, who to whom Gayatri Mantra was given, first given. He himself, it was anger was one of the last things he conquered. Now, I would like to just take a moment of pause here and check with you all. I'm sure all of us get angry at some times. For example, I stay in Bangalore. Bangalore traffic sometimes, you know, presses a wrong nerve. There is a joke going around in Bangalore that in Bangalore right now the flu is spreading very fast. The flu is spreading much faster than traffic. Cars go slow, diseases spread fast in Bangalore. So I would like to know from all of you, how do you, what strategies do you use to deal with anger or whenever you get irritated or angry? Yes, yes, Sri Ram has raised his hand. Yes, Sri Ram.
Uh, Sairam, so
Sairam.
whenever I get angry or something, I try to, leave that place as soon as possible to, change the location, and
Okay.
I try to, drink water and all. Basically, I am a short-tempered person. So, my Balvikas Guru gave me these tips to follow, and it has helped me a lot.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. Very good. Very good. Uh, Lakshmi,
Sairam sir,
Sairam.
am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Uh, in that time, I will listen to Swami's bhajans and take a deep sleep, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Sairam, sir. Sairam.
Okay. Great. Uh, Sister Tanya. Yeah.
Iram, sir.
Sairam.
So I take a glass of water. I just sit down and I count from 1 to 10, drink it, or I just take couple of deep breaths because in that time you kind of just you want to blurt out a lot of things and you may say a lot of wrong things. So I just try to center myself, get my focus on the now moment, be mindful,
Mm,
and then get back to whatever
very
I'm
good. Very
doing.
good. Very good.
Saira.
Uh, Sairam. One last participant, Pawan.
Yes, Sairam, sir. Am I
Sairam.
audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible, Pawan.
So actually, what I practiced while I was preparing for my SSB, so I used to practice this anger management. So what I used to do is that I move out from that place and I would figure out myself why am I getting angry and root
Okay.
cause analysis I used to do, and I would ask for myself whether is it necessary or not, and if at all it is necessary, I would discuss it in a uh, less tone instead of raising my voice. This is how I
Okay.
control my anger.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pawan, for sharing. So very good. All are very good strategies. Some of you have shared. You leave the place. Some of you have shared. You'll use logic, like Pawan said. Use logic. Is it really necessary for me to get angry here? Drinking a glass of water, singing bhajans, thinking of Swami. All are great ways to control anger. See, Swami gives us if you, two ways in which you can not control anger but minimize the impact of anger. Is if you first thing is you leave the spot immediately, and even before you leave the spot, you have to remember, you have to realize or think, am I angry right now or not? See, that's the first important realization, right? Am I angry right now? When, say, for example, in your office, there is a argument going on with your colleague, or in your college, uh, you know, let's say you're asked to do a group assignment and one of your teammates is not doing their task, and you're angry because if they don't do it, probably your assignment will not be able to you'll not be able to submit your assignment on time. Okay, all valid. I'm giving you all valid reasons to get angry, right? There in life we will always have valid reasons to get angry, even if you think that uh, we know that anger is not good for us, but our mind always comes up with valid reasons. Now the first thing to remember is that we should recognize whether we are angry or not. And I'll give you a simple another story. This is Swami's story. Once, one of our teachers in the hostel, this was way back in late 80s, he had the opportunity to be Swami's uh, room boy. So his duty was, clean up Swami's house. The postman will give a bunch of letters, so collect it and keep it inside, etc. And do door duty, that is, uh, stand outside the Swami's door as security. So he had all this privileges, and he had the great fortune of being Swami's room boy. And because he was room boy, Swami's room boy, uh, his mother had this practice of sending homemade pickles to Swami. So every few months, Swami, his mother would send a few bottles of pickles, different types of pickles, because Swami loved pickles as a part of his meals. So once his mother had sent pickles, and Sir was about to enter Swami's house. And those of you who know, Swami used to stay in the first floor of Purnachandra Auditorium. The Yajur Mandir was not constructed yet back then. So there is a stairway leading inside behind the stage of Purnachandra Auditorium. There is a a staircase leading up to Swami's room. And as Sir opened the door, he saw that Swami was standing on the staircase, and he was furious at somebody. He was blasting him for whatever mistake they did. And Sir was initially he thought, okay, this is not the right time to give pickles to Swami. So let me just go and enter maybe at a different time. But as he was about to go, Swami turned and looked at him. And because Swami had looked at him, he had no choice but to enter the room. So he was standing with his bag full of pickles, and he is looking at Swami blasting a senior devotee or teacher or whoever it is. And every 2 minutes, Swami would be in full blast looking at the devotee. And every 2 minutes, Swami used to turn his face towards our teacher and give a beautiful smile and say, "Oh, Amma Pampichinda." That means, has your mother sent pickles through you? Amma Pampichinda, paiki తీసుకెళ్ళు. That means, take it up the stairs. Your mother has got it. Take it up the stairs. And the next second, Swami's face would be red with anger, and he would start blasting the devotee again. So he did it 3, 4 times. Looking at the devotee, he was angry. Looking at Sir, he gave a beautiful beaming smile. And on another occasion, when Swami was angry, Swami Swami asked a doctor to come and check his blood pressure. And Swami's blood pressure was a perfect 120/80. Okay. So Swami said, this is all acting. I get angry so that because I want to correct you and put you on the right path. If I'm always smiling, right, you will take me for granted and you will not learn the lessons. You will not have the good fortune of actually practicing what I'm wanting to tell you. That's why Swami gets angry. But Swami says it's all an external acting. He never actually internally gets angry. So while there will be tough situations where we need to, for example, I'm a teacher, sometimes I have to appear angry to my students. Otherwise, they will take me for granted. But what I keep checking on is, am I actually getting angry? Right? Am I getting restless? Is my blood pressure rising? Is my, usually sometimes if you get really angry, your hands start shivering or your palms start becoming sweaty. Physiologically, are all these things happening? Right? Am I peaceful? When these things, when I'm aware of these things, and if these things are not happening, then I'm just acting as if I'm angry. Otherwise, I'm really, really getting angry from within. And getting angry from within is what we should avoid. So, one of the reasons, core reasons why we get angry is that there is a deep tendency in us that this is how the world should be, or this is how a person should behave, expectation on another person or on the world. And I'm not getting into the uh, values or ethics of it, whether it is right to have such expectations or not. A mother, should she have expectations on her son or daughter, and a boss, should he have expectations on his employees? I'm not going to touch that. But please remember that it is okay to display anger, but it's not, it is harmful for us to become angry very frequently. So if you're the sort of type that you are short tempered, you have to really look within and see what is causing that anger. Right? Now, one of the participants has asked this question, uh, right? Sometimes uh, don't want to hurt anyone unknowingly, but the only thing within us is anger, and that also depends on the situation. Does it have any bad effect on our lives? Yes. Even if whatever the reason is, if you get really angry, right? It's like, once or twice you get angry, nothing, it doesn't show up, but it will start having physiological impact on your body, and your spiritual energy that you've been gaining, it starts draining. Right? So please remember that it's very important to protect. See, we do a lot of sadhana, get up early in the morning, meditate, or we all lead very busy lives. We try to find that 5-10 minutes for meditation, bhajans, etc. And imagine, once you get angry, the last 3 months the account is wiped out. Right? So, or I'll give you another example. Imagine if you get angry, your last 3 months salary gets subtracted from your bank account. Will any of you get angry? Now, is there anybody who would still get angry if every single time you get angry, your last 3 months salary from your bank account becomes zero? Then why is it that we get angry even after we know that the spiritual balance is getting depleted? It's because we can't see it, right? There is no dashboard which shows us, we can't check it in our bank. But remember, whether we know it or not, that's what's happening. All right. Yes. Any questions on what we've discussed? Because it's a very important topic. right? Without this very crucial aspect, even if you do meditation, the effects of meditation is just going to wither away. Yes, we have three people. The first part, Sai Chandni, am I right? Oh, Sai Chandana.
Sai
Yes,
Chandan.
yes.
Sairam, sir. Am I audible?
Sairam. Yes, you're audible.
Sir, how to control emotion when we are anger actually?
So this is a very important thing. Once to a devotee couple from the US, Swami had mentioned that for those who have taken birth in male bodies, the biggest thing to conquer is ego. While those who have taken birth in female bodies, the bigger challenge is to control their emotions. Right? So while it is easier for me as a being in a male body to tell you that it's easy to control emotions, I know that those who are in female bodies, the experience of it is very different. So and just remember, if you are the type to get too emotional all the time, all right, you have to work on your emotions. And there are various ways to do it, but one of the most effective ways is meditation. Just watch your emotions, whatever it is. Let's say you're uh, you start, whenever somebody, your friend goes away, or you get emotional when you are leaving your parents for a long trip, let's say. Now, it's okay to miss them for a while, but if you start feeling homesick after 5 days, 6 days, and you know, it's having an outsized impact on your life, then the best way to overcome it is to just watch the emotion whenever you face it. Take some 5 minutes break from whatever you're doing. Just sit and watch that emotion. And once you stop feeding that emotion with further thoughts, right? If you keep thinking about it, you're feeding the emotion. Once you stop feeding the emotion, stop giving fuel to that emotion, you will find that you are in lot better control, right? You are on top of your emotion rather than the emotion getting the better of you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Mudit Saram brother.
Sairam sir, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
So what is the spiritual description of anger according to you? So the story which you have told of Vishwamitra and all, the part of it, what I understood is that jealousy is also component. And in day-to-day life also, sometimes we have been not too much angry to lose our temper, but somewhere we have been irritated from one of the another thing. So what is the spiritual description of anger?
See, the anger, uh, do you think, among all of you, do you think men get angry more or women get angry more? Usually, in general, I'm not trying to create stereotypes here. Does your father get angry more or mother get angry? Yes, Arun, what do you think? Mother gets angry. Okay. What? Anybody else? Pratik?
When father gets angry more, son gets
Uh-huh.
calm, sir. When mother gets angry more, both father and son gets calmer.
So just
Sairam,
remember.
it's depend on the situation, I think.
Okay. Okay. So getting angry has, uh, like I mentioned already, I would not give you a definition of anger. But if you want to know, anger means you totally lost control of yourself. That's anger. And your words, right? You don't think. When you're angry, do you think, for example, no? Uh, I sometimes have coordinated dramas in Mandir. So let's say a character gets angry in the drama, right? as a script writers, what we do is we use very simple words for the actor, because you don't use complicated words when you're getting angry. Where, right, we talk in very simple language, because, like, say, get out of here, right? We use very simple language because we just stop thinking, right? Anger starts taking over our brain, short circuits our brain. So my definition of anger would be, if you are you in control of your words, thoughts, actions, right? If when you're irritation, you might be irritated, but are you in control? If you have lost control and you're shouting at others, that's when it's true anger. So uh, that's what my definition of anger would be. Anybody else? Any other questions? I think Arun has also raised his hand. Yes.
Yes, sir. So, am I audible first?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, thing is, at times we do have legitimate expectations, be it personally or professionally, and despite our repeated efforts to say things, so see, at times people might go wrong, but in a very soft manner, we do have conversation one on one, and we are saying, no, this is not how this is supposed to happen. And even after this multiple efforts from us, still the person is being the same. I'm unable to create any impact on them. And after a point of time, because of that particular character or particular attitude, that is creating a huge problem. So what else is the solution but to become angry? And my intent is
Uh,
truly to change that character, nothing against that person.
uh, so, brother Arun, just remember one thing, right? Uh, let's say if you're working with you're dealing with your colleagues or employees, or you're dealing with your kids, or relatives like mother or father, that's okay. I mean, like, if your attempt to uh, correct somebody or change the person's character is correct, but remember, you can only attempt, right? Right now, I'll give you an example. See, Swami has taken his avatarhood. Now, have we all become self-realized?
No.
So that's mean, so even when the avatar comes down, right, not everyone transforms. It's up, because it's the freedom that is being given to the individual, right? So while there was a question about even uh, when our kids ask unfair things, is it okay to get angry? All I'm saying is, it's okay to display anger, but don't get angry within, is what I'm saying. Swami has never said don't display anger. You don't display anger, your kids will take advantage of you, right? Discipline is very important as a parent, but don't become angry from within, right? And acting on anger, Sushmita Pradhan has asked, just remember, see, when you're lost control of yourself, you have no control over your actions. So if you start acting, then you don't know. And see, it's like, if you don't have control of your words, it's like spilt milk, they say, right? Once you spilled the milk, there is no, you cannot take it, put it back in the vessel, right? So you've already lost this. A lot of relationships get destroyed, right? People keep remembering the bad, the harsh words that they heard, because, see, physical wounds also can heal, but harsh words when we use to someone, right, in a moment of anger, they will never get healed truly. It takes a lot of practice. That person also should be doing sadhana to heal themselves, right? So that's why it's very important to work on ourselves if we constantly get angry, right? But displaying anger and feeling angry are two different things, right? Like Swami did. Will you be able to look, if somebody else comes, will you be able to give a heartful smile when at the same time when you're angry at somebody else, right? That means you're displaying anger. Otherwise, you're really feeling anger, right? And don't, many times we fool ourselves thinking, mind keeps giving justifications for getting. I got angry because of this person. No, we got angry because our tendency to become angry, because of our expectations. right? Because we have not mastered that emotion yet, right? So don't put the onus on the other person. There will always be some reason to get angry every day, right? Yes. So I know there will be anger management is actually a separate workshop in itself. Uh, but because this is Janavahini, let's quickly move on. I'll come back to some practices which can help you deal with anger in the moment, right? It's always good if you don't feel and get angry in the first place, but we do tend to get angry, and if we get angry, then how to deal with it through meditation. I'll come to it towards the end of the session. Now, moving on to the next story, all right? Next story is about ekagrata. Can anybody guess what this photo is? Who's in this photograph?
It's Arjuna, sir, focusing the fish for a
Arjuna.
reflection in the water.
Yeah, Arjuna. So this was back in the days. In see, Dwapara Yuga was only Swami says was only 5,200 years ago. Okay, so not it was not like 100,000 years or whatever, and we don't know how people were. So it's not like yesterday, but it's not so far. It's not so many years before that you don't know what happened, right? So even just imagine, even 5,000 years ago, we had extraordinary warriors who had so much ekagrata, right? That forget shooting, looking straight at the target, right? They could look at water, point the arrow up, and there is a moving fish on top. There is a fish that is moving on top, and and you are able to exactly hit the target. That was the power of ekagrata of Arjuna. Now, why I wanted to give you this example or story is that ekagrata helps in worldly things also, like Swami said, right? You will become better at your job. If you're a student, you will become better at your study, right? If you're a teacher, you can teach better. If you're a public speaker, right, you will become a better public speaker, right? Whatever field you are in, right? If you're an archer, if you're a marksman, if you're a cricketer, a basketball player, doesn't matter. Whichever field you are in, you will become better at it just by doing one thing at a time. Now, in today's world, we have tendency to multitask. How many of you have this tendency? Right, looking at phone while working or studying, right? Trying to do too many things at the same time. And what has happened today's world is that at some level, uh, we have started glorifying people who multitask. Having five screens on at the same time in the office, doing multiple things at the same time, right? Juggling between things. Uh, that's not good. That's not good for spirituality. If you're a spiritual sadhaka, if you consider yourself a sadhaka, remember that if your daily life you are always multitasking and you're not focusing on one thing at a time, right? Your mind will never be clear enough to see the truth. You will never. It is very difficult to realize your God if your mind is not still. It's not. I can't say no. Never. It can never happen. I can never say that I'm not Swami, but it will be very difficult to see the truth if you're, because the truth is very simple. Okay, Swami has also said that it's coming in the next part of the same chapter. Swami has mentioned, right? The truth is very simple, but to realize the truth, the mind has to be still, and the way to make it still is to by dhyana or focus, one pointed focus. Now, Swami has also told about different types of mental stillness. All right, can anybody say what are the different types of mental stillness? Uh, it's there in the chapter, just for the benefit of everybody else. Yes, Pratik.
Sairam, sir.
Saram Pratik.
Yes,
Yes, go
sir. I
ahead.
had one. Yeah. So I had one question which I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So many times what happens is like we are we come across situation like with our friends or family members. So that time we get angry and sometimes like at that point in time we just say what we have to say, but it also affects us from within. So how can we not get affected from within at the same time tell the message that which is the right what right thing is to be done that way. So
Uh,
what would you?
so Pratik, the best way to do it is, okay, is through love. The more love we have for the other person, right? And I'm not talking about uh, human love. I'm talking about divine love. And how do we develop this divine love towards everybody? Is by looking at everybody as Swami, right? Actually, that is the truth, right? Everybody is Swami only. Whoever, there are 345 other participants in the call. I'm talking to 345 Swamis, right? And Swami used to look at everybody as himself. So he says, uh, I just see a sea of myself. Swami is mentioned once in a discourse, right? So if everybody is Swami, then can you get angry ever at Swami? Really, right? You might, at some point, you might have some life expectation. Swami, I wanted this, I did all these prayers, you didn't give it to me. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Really, you can never be angry. If you love God, you can never get angry at God, right? So uh, that's why you have to develop the divine love towards the other person. Then you can always display anger, but you will truly never be angry.
Yes, sir, it's right what you said, but very difficult to do that.
So I'll
Control
give you a
the.
simple, practical way to do it. Right? So for several years, I had the great chance of distributing prasadam in Sai Kulwant's hall for almost a decade. And so what I used to do is whenever I give prasadam to somebody, right, I will imagine and not just imagine, feel that I'm giving it to Swami, right? Now, what used to happen is initially I used to feel happy, just happy at the end of prasadam because it's a great chance to do some seva right in front of Swami. Eventually, what started happening when I started this practice was I used to be in bliss, joy, bliss. I'm not talking merely happy. By the time I finished the activity, I used to be in so much joy, and that even if somebody blasts me after that, I will be in the same joy because the joy is so overpowering that the bliss when you
Absent.
recognize that everybody is when you recognize the divinity around you, that's when you are the happiest, most joyful. No amount of you can achieve anything in this world. You can become the prime minister of this country, or you can whatever, but you will never get the joy, that level of joy that you feel when you recognize divinity around you, right? So see, it's like this. When you, let's say you cooked uh, uh, idli for breakfast for your family, and if your son or daughter asks for vada, will you be able to give it to them immediately?
No.
We cannot, right? Because you've cooked only idlis. Similarly, if you hold within anger, right, how can you share love with others, right? Swami says the first teaching of Swami is love all. If you're not holding love within yourself, then how will you share it with others? And can anybody say within myself, in my heart, right now, love and anger both coexist at the same time? Do you feel two emotions? You can have two different thoughts at the same time, but can love and anger be in your heart at the same time in your heart?
No.
right? It's not possible, right? So just remember, you can only serve to others what you've cooked. And that's why it's important to start with the awareness that not only you are God, but everybody else around you is God. Have that feeling. Don't just think, right? Don't just look, imagine that, the Swami's form is, that's also a good way to do it. Swami's form is overlaying that other person's form. That's also a good way. But first, you have to feel it, all right? And in my experience, nobody told me that I should do it, I just figured it out. Maybe it's Swami's grace that, okay, chalo, I'll give him this, lesson of how to do it. I'll show him how to do it. I just started doing this, and trust me, if you really feel it from within that the person who's serving you is in front of you is Swami, you will be so overwhelmed with joy, right? Initially, I used to cry because I could not take that much joy. I've never felt so much joy in my life. And happy tears used to come at the end of. So I used to, after serving prasadam, I used to be sit alone, wipe out my tears, and go back to whatever I was doing. Right? We should start feeling it, and once you are in that, right, and then the others in front of you will feel that joy. You can become angry without feeling anger within yourself. Right? That is true sadhana. That is true meditation. Are we able to feel that love? Now I'll come back to the question that I asked at the beginning. What is true meditation? Right? Whenever you are putting yourself in touch with God, that is true meditation. Whenever you're feeling love within your heart, right? Divine love within your heart, that is true meditation. Right? If you're doing bhajans and you're feeling joy, love in your heart, you're meditating. Right? So don't, again, I'll want to take you back to that picture of that cat being tied to a pole. Don't go by these images of, a rishi sitting, with chin mudra and with his back erect and closing his eyes and meditating for thousands of years. Don't have that as the only image of meditation, right? Swami was Shiva, is said to be the Adi Yogi, the person who created the divine being which who created all forms of yoga. Swami is an avatar of Shiva Shakti. Did you see Swami ever sitting with his eyes closed with chin mudra and meditating? But he was always in a state of he's the embodiment of highest level of samadhi, right? But could you feel Swami's love? Even now we feel Swami's love whenever we come to Prashant Nilayam, whenever we look at his photograph, right? Whenever we even think of him, do we feel his love? Yes. Whenever we think of Swami, can we feel his love?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So that is the fragrance of meditation. See, yeah, if you like, if you applied a perfume, a new perfume, let's say your friend has returned from US or Europe, and they've given you a new fresh bottle of perfume, and all your colleagues will start asking, right, what's this new perfume? So similarly, you should be spreading the fragrance of love all the time. And that can happen once you recognize that everything around you is divine. And not just everything around you, you are also divine. And I am not telling this. Swami has told this hundreds, thousands of times. Right? That is also meditation. Right? Don't have this mental image that only sitting. That's also important. Right? Sitting with your eyes closed, doing breathing exercises, jyoti meditation, everything has its place. Chanting Om in the morning, that's also important. But that is not the that alone is not meditation, right? Now, if you practice this love, you can meditate throughout the day, right? If you practice seeing Swami in everyone and everything, you can be meditating throughout the day. You can be you can be, probably some of your doctors or lawyers, you might be very busy in your personal lives, but you can still meditate 24 bars if you are practicing love. That's why Swami says love all, serve all, right? He didn't say love and serve. Then our minds will say, okay, you will have to love only some people. It's okay if I only love my samiti members or my family members, right? It's okay if I serve 10 people. I've done Narayan Seva to 10 people. No, love all, serve all. And you don't have to physically serve anything to anybody. Serve the love that you're feeling, right? Just by your presence, you can share love. You don't have to uh, tell anything to anybody, right? For example, uh, you know, uh, there are a lot of temples which we go to, right? There was this recent Kumbh Mela which happened in Prayagraj. There were 60 crore devotees visiting, right? And we always hear of, uh, you know, temples where Lord Rama visited on his way back, on his way towards Lanka, and what route he traced back, right? Temples, Ram Janmabhoomi, Krishna Janmabhoomi, right? In our tradition, any place which has been touched by divinity is very, very sacred because those vibrations exist forever. That's why we all, revere Prashant Nilayam so much because the vibration is so strong. Swami's vibrations, divine vibrations, right? So, why is it that, have you ever thought, why is it that it happens like that? Why does it happen? How does it happen?
Due to peace.
Due to peace, okay?
Purity of the place.
Purity of the place, okay. It's because of
Unconditional
the,
love of Swami.
yeah, it's because of unconditional love and because of the level of consciousness, right? Swami's consciousness is so high, he can just, he might have just touch, we take all letters or, invitations, food, right? Swami never actually chants Brahmarpanam, right? When prasadam is taken to Swami, he just touches it, that's it. It's pure, right? It's divine. His energy is there in its full, or just looks at it, darshan, right? It's said, no, in scriptures that it's more important that God looks at you than you looking at God. So when we say we have had good darshan of Swami, that means Swami has laid his eyes on you. Just by his eyesight, he could share so much love, right? Now that's happening because of their level of Swami's level of consciousness, or even saints samadhis, if you go, right? It's sacred because that's their higher level of consciousness. Now, through love, our sadhana, right? If we practice love, practice seeing divinity in everything, then the people around us will start feeling it, right? It overnight it will not happen, but it will definitely happen. That the person whom you're interacting with will feel your love, right? Your relatives will feel your love. Your son, daughter, everybody will be feeling your love all the time, right? Because that is the most powerful sadhana. That's why love, right? That's why Swami says the highest spiritual sadhana is to, anybody can complete the
Love all,
sentence?
serve all. Love all, serve all.
Love all, serve all. To transform love into service is the highest spiritual sadhana, right? So that's why Swami's organizations are called Satyasai Seva organization, right? Because that is our highest sadhana. And how should we do it? Do it with love. Then that is itself meditation, right? If you're doing that, and how do you know you're on the right path? First, you should feel love. You should feel joy, peace, bliss, right? Practice this simple task of looking at the other person as Swami. And the best time to do it is when you're actually serving the other person, right? So use these opportunities that you get when divinity in others, right? For example, Sairam.
Now fine, Saram. You
Okay,
can please
okay.
start.
Yeah. So, the reason why, uh, at least that's the way I look at it, is all this, Swami has created this great support system in terms of Seva organization is that, see, usually when there is when when Virat Kohli practices, let's say a lot of times he's getting out, edging to the keeper or the slips, especially in Test cricket, outside when the ball is bowled outside the off stumps. For those of you who follow cricket, now if he wants to stop making this mistake, he will not directly go to the match. He will go to the nets, start practicing 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, so that when he goes into the match, he his chances of getting out is less. But we see still he keeps getting out, right? It's not easy, right? Similarly, our seva opportunities, when we serve, it's like practice love. Then, right? When you are loving, then when you go back to your office, when you go back to your bad boss or difficult teacher, right, or someone you don't like, then you have a greater chance to be loving even to them from within, right? Any technique to remind ourselves of this all the time? Very good question. See, if you once you start feeling joy, right, within yourself, that itself acts as a reminder, right? Oh my God, I'm not feeling joy now. Why am I not feeling joyful? I'm not seeing divinity in everyone. So let me remind. Or you can start, right? Start by sharing love with your parents, and your whoever is, if your roommates, if you're in a hostel with your roommates. That's why Swami says start the day with love. Fill the day with love, spend the day with love, end the day with love. This is the way to God, right? So start the day with love. Make love your first practice. When you get up, immediately start sharing love with, you can just imagine that you're sending love to your loved ones, your Swami, right? When your first interaction, let it be with a smile and joy, right? If it's your mother who wakes you up, don't get irritated. Amma, why are you waking up so, or why are you making me get up so early in the morning? Don't do that. Think that Swami has come to wake you up. Wake up with a smile, joy. Start your day with love. Then you will get the opportunity to fill the day with love. You'll get an opportunity to spend the day with love. And finally, end the day with love. Yeah. I hope this is very clear, because this is a very important aspect. And ekagrata comes automatically when you practice love, right? Your restlessness will stop. Mind will become calm and peaceful. Then you can, even when you sit for meditation, you will be calm. If you're angry, right? If anybody gets angry next time, try to sit for meditation. It's impossible. If you are not relaxed, if you are not peaceful, you will never be able to meditate or get into meditative states. Correct? So that's why in every meditation practice, what do they start with? Wherever they teach, right? I'm just not talking about anywhere they teach meditation. First, what do? They start with breathe. They sit. They start just with push. They start with breath work, because mind is related to breathing, and you can let down, calm yourself, let go of all your negative emotions. That's why they start with breath work, right? When you are loving all the time, you don't have to even start with breath work. You can just sit, immediately will become meditative, right? Whether it is some meditation or Jyoti meditation, whatever practice that Swami has mentioned, automatically it will be easier to practice it if you are in state of love, right? Any questions on whatever has been discussed so far? Okay, yes. Um, Kautuk, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sairam.
Yes, yes,
Sairam.
yes.
Sir, can you please explain this line once again? That love all, serve all can makes oneself do ekagrata.
Yeah.
Can you please explain it
Uh,
once again?
so, okay. So Kautuk, who's your favorite celebrity?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan. Let's say you've got, you get an invite from Shah Rukh Khan to visit him in Mannat, and first you check is it a is it a spam mail? No. His manager calls you and says, no, Shah Rukh Khan has looked at your profile or whatever, and he likes you and he wants to meet you. Right? You go and meet. So you're waiting for Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan comes and sits in front of you. Now, where will you be checking your phone when Shah Rukh Khan is speaking to you? Right? Your phone will be in silent, switched off. Right? That half an hour
Exactly.
you'll only be thinking about focusing on him. Right? What is that? Is it ekagrata or not? One pointed focus or not?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly,
Yes.
when you're loving all the time, right? When you're feeling so much joy within yourself, would you want to be some other place? What is wandering mind? Either the mind is in the past or is in the future. Right now, when you're joyful, will you think of the ice cream that you're going to eat 4 hours from now? No, you will focus on experiencing joy right now, right? Right? That's the same thing when Swami is coming for darshan and walking up to us for darshan. Will we have any other thought in our mind? Full focus will be on, okay, how do I catch Swami's attention? How can I get Pad Namaskar? Will he speak to me? Right? It's only one pointed attention on Swami. That itself meditation. Right? So that's why when you're in love, ekagrata can become very, very easy. Right? When you love Swami, and let's remember, think of it like this. If you think of your meditation as your daily appointment with Swami, right? You will be joyful, eager to meditate. Right? It's all about how we put it, frame it to our mind. Right? Don't think of it as this very difficult task. You have to sit for half an hour. Mind thoughts will keep coming and going. Of course, they'll keep coming. But think of it as an appointment with Swami. If you sit for darshan, if thoughts come, will you get up and go? No, right?
Exactly not.
You'll not, right?
Yes, yes.
Hey, why do we get up and go when mind becomes racy? How many of you have done it? How many of you thought that I'll sit for meditation today? Okay, I'll meditate for next 15 minutes. And then decided in between, my God, my mind is too, I'm getting too distracted. So I will not complete the meditation. Has it happened or not? Yes. So many hands. I will be the first person to raise both my hands and say, yes, I've done it 1,000 times. But remember, how do we persist? Patience, purity, perseverance. Right? Patience. That patience comes when we think of meditation as an appointment with Swami. Right?
Got it,
Then
sir. Got it,
practice
sir.
your sadhana. And I'll talk to, I'll quickly move on to other things before I come back to the basics of meditation. But I think it's very important that you're asking all these questions. Now, let me just share a funny story. Okay. Once there was a shopkeeper who was wealthy shopkeeper. He had the biggest shop in town. But at the same time, he had a Guruji who used to visit him, and he feels that it is only because of his Guruji that he has got all this wealth. While he was so attached to the shop, he used to listen to his words of his Guruji once in a while. So once when he went for a satsang with his Guruji, the Guruji said, if the last word that last thought that you think of is of God just before you die, then you will attain liberation. So this guy went back and thought, like, how do I, ensure that this happens? And he decided that he will name his three sons, or name his sons only uh, on God, basically. So the three sons that you see on the photograph, he named them Rama, Krishna, and Govinda. So he'll always call Rama, where are you? Krishna, where are you? Govinda, where are you? So time passed, he became old, and he was bedridden. And they said, anytime he can leave the body. So this condition. Then obviously he's surrounded by his sons Rama, Krishna, and Govinda. And while he was talking to them, calling them Rama, suddenly he looked at them and told, "Hey, Rama, Krishna, Govinda, if all three of you are here, who is there looking after the shop?" And with that thought, he passed away. He left his body. Right? While he tried to be very clever, it's not possible for the last thought to be about God if that's not what you've yearned for throughout your life. Right? So yearn for Swami. That's the most, what is the right thing to yearn for? Swami discusses, right? What is the right thing? Yearn for liberation, yearn for Swami, yearn for Swami's love. Right? The more you yearn for Swami's love, the more you will be able to stay on the right path. And the more you experience Swami's love, automatically your wrong things will drop away, because you will realize, my God, no, why am I running after all these things? All right. No position in the world, no money in the world is able to give me this much joy. So I will rather be with Swami. Right. So this brings me to this next important story. That is, once Swami was discussing about, uh, discussing about a Mirabai's drama. And one elder asked question, the drama is like, all sad, and those who know the story of Mirabai, that she was born in a royal family. She was so devoted to Krishna that she was, uh, you know, uh, she was basically sent out of her kingdom. She was, she did not have very pleasant experiences in life because she was very devoted. And at that time, people felt it is, she is going against the rules of the society by becoming, being so devoted to Krishna rather uh, than her own kingdom and family. Now, one of the uh, elders who was next to Swami uh, asked, Swami, she is so devoted. Why is it that she is suffering so much in her life? Then Swami became very serious and he said, Hey, who told that she suffered? She went through difficulties in her life, but she was always joyful because she was always thinking of me. So don't think that she suffered, and don't tell that she was suffered. Meera was always joyful. That's what, so that is Swami's response, right? So if you are always thinking of God, right, you will be there were questions about difficult situations. Difficult situations will come and go. That's also mentioned in the same chapter, right? Any chapter we can go, you touch upon, you can discuss upon it for hours together, right? Swami says in this chapter that you will experience difficulties in life. Life is a mixture of joy and, right, happiness and sorrow, good and bad, success and failure, right? Yes, somebody, Dr. Arti has mentioned gem cannot be polished without friction. These are all Swami's words, right? So when that is the case, when we have our eye on Swami all the time and we feel his love all the time, right? We will not, we might go through a difficult situation. Others might think that, oh my God, how come he's a devotee of Sai Baba? Why is it that, then why is it that he's going through so many difficulties? Others might think that, but within yourself, you will be always joyful, right? So remember this example of Meera always, that while you might see it in a story or a movie or a drama that she's, all these sad situations are happening to her, she was always happy, right? Now, coming to the next important aspect of meditation. Why does Swami say do not be in a hurry? Anybody can, I just want one person to or to talk about it. Anybody knows why Swami says do not be in a hurry? Yes, Lakshmi.
Sairam sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Sairam sir, I think if hurry makes worry to everyone or Hari makes very.
Yeah. See, Swami says Hari, Kari, Vari is the 3 reasons for heart disease.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now medical community has also accepted it. There was a recent article in Times of India. In the last 1 week, you can go back and check after the session, where they say that Hari, Kari, and Vari. These are the exact words. Hari, Kari, and Vari is leading to heart disease among Indians. Right. So whatever Swami says, Swami is ahead of the medical community by a few decades. Medical community will come to accept it. So, for example, Swami said sugar is one of the main reasons for cancer. The leading cause of cancer is sugar, right? So, similarly, when we always want instant gratification in today's lives, right? Uh, you know, that's why a lot of these companies ensure, spend billions of dollars in ensuring that their servers are very fast. Because if YouTube takes, YouTube or Instagram takes 30 seconds for the next shot to appear in our feed, right? Obviously, the number of users will be less. That instant tendency of these apps is what makes them so addictive for us. So, in this era of instant gratification, don't project it to those tendencies to your meditation, right? You might press a button, and in 8 minutes or whatever, your Swiggy or Zomato orders might come. But that's not how meditation works. Don't be in a hurry to expect results. What happens is, when you're too eager to expect results, we tend to go from one sadhana to another, one thing to another, one thing to another. And it's before we, so I'm not talking about akshatas, decisions made in a hurry often lead to consequences. I'm not talking about decisions made in a hurry. I'm just purely talking from a sadhana perspective. It's like digging a hole, then to find in search of water, right? And after 10 meters, oh, it's too tough here, it's not giving water, so going to the next place and digging a hole, right? You might dig 1,000 holes like that, but you'll not get water. But had you or had we stuck to that one hole and kept digging for 100 meters, you would have found, definitely, forget 100 meters, 50 meters also, you would have found water, right? So the best thing is, stop expecting instant results out of meditation. Whatever practice you've been doing, continue with that practice. Don't go from one practice to another, one guru to another. It's not going to help, right? It's just you're just following your mental tendencies and not anything else. It's very important. If you want to have, if you want your meditation to bear results, right? If you want to progress on the spiritual path, please, whatever be the technique, right? I believe you were taught one technique, relaxation technique last time as a part of your session last week. What was the technique which was taught to you?
Deep breathing.
Deep breathing, right? Right. We have Jyoti meditation audios available, right? Thumb meditation audios available. Everything is there. Swami has given everything. But it's important to not expect results in 2 days, 3 days. Doesn't work like that. Right? Keep any practice that you pick up, Jyoti meditation, keep doing it. Om chanting in the morning, keep doing it. Right? Do it right. Do it with the right intention. Right? Do it with love. Automatically, the results will come to you when when the time is right. Right? Swami says it's like a fruit which is ripened. Right? It's like a mango tree. Right? You don't want to pluck out the mangoes when it's too ripe. Right? But when the mango becomes ripe, automatically it will fall on your lap if you're under the tree. You don't have to even pluck the mango. Like that, if you do your sadhana, don't forget about the result. Right? Focus on your action. Do it with the right intention. Right? Focus on how you're feeling at the end of the session. Forget about the results. Results will come when the time is right. The fruit will come and fall on your lap. Right? Self-realization, right? You will realize the truth with, right, at the right time. Yes. So Shashanka has asked a very good question that gives me that provides me a link to my what I wanted to end the talk with is what is the end result in physical world of meditation. Right? This again is something that Swami has mentioned. The end goal of meditation. End goal of meditation is self-realization. And what is self-realization? Self-realization is the recognition that you are God. Everyone else around you is God. Everything around you is God. And there is nothing in this creation but God. That is self-realization. Correct? And has nothing to do with the physical world. Physical world is all Maya. Right? But at the same time, Swami cautions people, don't be in a hurry. Right? You have to live in this world. Right? You have to do your bhajan, to do your seva. Don't think that the world is all illusion. I'm going to stop living. I'm going to a forest. Right? If you separate some things as spiritual, some things as worldly, never realize the goal. Right? Everything is spiritual. So you have to do your job well. You have to take care of your family properly. You have to do your seva, whatever properly. Through that itself, you will realize the truth. And remember, meditation is like the fruit that you get at the end of every day for your right. If you practice love throughout the day, in the evening when you sit for meditation, it's like it's like God giving you uh, right. It's like after Shivratri bhajans, overnight bhajans in morning they give you pulihora and chakra pongal, right? I'm sure all of you like the taste of it. It's like that, right? When you practice love throughout the day, when you sit for meditation, the moment you sit, you will feel so much joy. You don't have to even. It becomes there is a word called ajapa jap. That means if you keep chanting Swami's name, Sairam, 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 even if you sit silently, internally you can feel Sairam, 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 Sairam going on within you. So that means what? You're not actually meditating, but at a very, very deep level, you're not actually doing a japa, but at a very deep level, japa is happening on its own. Right? Similarly, when you just sit after you spend your entire day in love, when you sit for meditation in the evening, automatically you will get into meditative states. Right? And you will realize without any effort that you are God, everyone else is God, everything else is God, and then there is nothing else in this world but God. That is self-realization. Yes, we have another 5 minutes for any questions. Shweta says self-transformation. In this context, Shweta, there is nothing for you to transform into. You are already God. Swami never told you have to do X, Y, Z to become God. Right? Right? It's not becoming God or becoming self. It's just realizing that you're God. Or realizing that you're the self. That's why it's self-realization, not self-becoming or self-transformation. It's self-realization. You just already are God. The Swami says the difference between him and us is he knows that he is God. We don't know it yet. Right? When we do this, when you follow Swami, right? When you think of him all the time, when we do these practices of meditation, we will also realize that we are God. Yes, I have questions from Shraddha. Yes, Shraddha.
Sairam, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I wanted to ask that in real life, sometimes it becomes so difficult to feel love for certain people because of the way
Yeah.
they have treated us. So it is impossible to even think that Swami is present in them. So how do we address such situations? And it's not
Shraddha,
possible to just distance ourselves from them.
Shraddha, thank you for asking a very, very important question. I'm sure every one of us will have that one person who is, who's not behaved well with us or whatever, right? And for many years, I also struggled with it till I ultimately realized that it is foolish to share my individual love. So, what I do in those scenarios is to pray to Swami for his love and just use me as an instrument to share his love to the other person. Right? Our love is very limited. We can never share our love. Right? It doesn't work, especially to people who have been difficult to us. So best is to sit in your meditation, pray to Swami to share his love, right? Share his love and light, and pray to him to use us as an instrument through which Swami's love reaches to the other person, right? So that way, it doesn't matter what our thoughts about that person are, our feelings about that person are. We are just an instrument for Swami's love. Yes. I hope I've answered your question, Shweta.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Can we have one more question? One last question from Brother Raghavan?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Iron brother, which Pavan are you talking? Hello.
Sai Ram, Brother Raghavan.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sir, I have this one question when you were talking about anger. So I had this question, is anger arising out of ahankara or is it arising out of avidya? Because when we get angry, is it because we are ignorant of the truth or is it because our ego feels a bit threatened? So how is this, sir?
Raghavan, very good question. First, tell me what is truth.
I understand truth is always one. So that the truth is love. So that is my understanding.
Okay. So what then? If truth is love, then what is non-truth? What is falsehood or avidya? Vidya is love. You are saying. Then what is avidya? Then
Okay. Avidya is something that we are not able to perceive or understand.
yeah. See, whenever you are not able to perceive love, not in the state of love, then if you say love is vidya, then what is avidya?
Opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think any one of us can tell that I went and I went in front of Swami, photograph or his whatever his sannidhi, and I did not feel love. If that means our hearts are closed, right? Anyone who's come in touch with Swami or anything to do anything that Swami has touched, right, are drenched in his love, right? That's why he's a Purna avatar, born, right? The highest creator being born in a physical form, right? And what did he exude all the time? Love. That's why Swami says, love is truth, love is God, right? So, what is avidya then? Lack of love is avidya. If you're not feeling love within you, where would you see? Where do you, when we naturally say, no, right? When I'm thinking, we point to the head, right? When we say love, what do we point? Right? Heart, right? Is there anybody who shares Valentine's Day messages with the brain? No, right? Everyone shares only heart. Why? Because it's natural for us to say that, okay, heart is where love, I feel love, right? So that is the case. Avidya is not feeling love in your heart is avidya, right? And avidya also means at a deeper level, feeling a sense of separation. When you see, when you don't see the other as yourself or as Sai or Swami, then that is also avidya. And when you see and feel and think and realize that everybody is God, anger has no place. Anger has no meaning. right? Anger ceases to exist. But of course, because we are, because we keep forgetting, right? We have to keep reminding ourselves that we are gods. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Sairam.
Thank you. My salutations and pranams to all the NLP participants. I think, uh, it is said that the first person who listens to a satsang is the person who's speaking. So I thank you all for giving me this wonderful opportunity to relive Swami's teachings, right? To also giving me the great fortune of sharing Swami's love. And let us all pray to Swami, the embodiment of meditation, right? Embodiment of Shiva, the highest form of meditation, to grant us the realization that we are God and everything and everyone around us is God, and to fill our lives with His love. And if at all there is anything to yearn for, let us only yearn for His love. Thank you once again. Thank you for this opportunity. Sairam.
Sairam, sir, thank you so much for your timely closure. Thank you so much, dear brothers and sisters, for your amazing questions. And thank you, sir, for patiently answering all those which were very insightful and clear to all of us listeners. I'm sure many of you who were wishing to ask the same questions could relate and got your doubts clear. And we could see many hands raised. Unfortunately, due to our time limit, we are proceeding to the closure. And after this session gets over, the WhatsApp chat will be opened for you all to ask your questions. And we will try to get all your answers from Sir. And we hope Sir will definitely take out his time to answer all your questions. Sairam, Sir. Now with Swami's divine blessings and grace, we would now like to conclude this session with a heartfelt vote of thanks. First and foremost, deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Chandrahaas CS Sir, for sharing your invaluable insights and wisdom with us today. You talked about how Swami gave us two ways to minimize the anger. Just leave the spot and recognize whether we are angry or not. And we could learn the power of Sai Gayatri, of the Gayatri Mantra, looking at Vishwamitra's story. That he was first given the mantra and how he later got the title of Brahma Rishi. And of course, the highest form of sadhana is to love all and serve all. We have to practice love, and ultimately our mind becomes calm. You shared so many stories through which we could reflect on some great learnings, the concept, the goal of self-realization, and many more. Sir, your words have truly enriched our understanding and inspired us very deeply. And we pray to Bhagwan that we may again get to connect with you in the coming days through such sessions and hear your inspiring words. Thank you so much, sir. A special thanks to our respected conveners, Professor Yoginder Verma and Dr. Gopi Krishna Uncle, for your unwavering guidance and support in making this session possible. How can we not mention the main heroes of the session? To all the participants, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and active engagement, which added so much value to this session. The comments and response were flowing through the chats too. Your patience and dedication is much appreciated. The most heartfelt appreciation also goes to the organizing team for their dedication, efforts behind the scenes, and to the IT team for ensuring the smooth execution of this session. Now let us all take a moment in silence and express our deepest gratitude to our hero of the heroes, the producer, the director, our ultimate master, our beloved Bhagwan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Without his grace and blessings, this wouldn't have been possible. Let us offer our collective prayers, seeking Swami's continued blessings to guide us in our journey of learning and service. For one more time, Sai Ram and thank you to all. Wishing each one of you a very happy and blissful Sunday ahead. We may now conclude with the Shanti Mantram. Jai Sai Ram.
समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।